Again, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Bull Rush. My name is Mr. Schmuggledorf, and I am joined with just Norbot this week. As I was saying to you, and as Norbot was answering, Wolfie is currently sicker than ever. We've broken his streak by getting him sick. Sorry.
Hey, don't bring a we into this. I had no part of getting him sick.
Yeah, I mean, you're only like what 6-7 hours away by car. No, you're more than that. You're
oh
like
God, no! I'm
12
like
hours away.
no, God, I'm probably like 20 hours away from you.
By car, yeah. So, there's that.
I'm
but
like
he
10
is
hours
here,
from Alabama.
But he is here in spirit, as we could see in the chat here. And this is Chattapalooza for the Palooza Strikes Back. And is also our 25th show, as I was saying to Perry as he was responding. It's almost been half a year of these shows. We've already gone past that half a year mark because we've taken a couple of weeks off for holidays. But the actual shows were at 25, and as I said in the Reddit post, I'd like to thank all the guys who actually do show up here week to week to watch these shows. It's really awesome to see you, and yeah, we're gonna be here. We're just gonna keep going for another 25 more shows or more. You never know. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird.
It's gonna be great. No, it's gonna be fantastic.
No, you're involved. It's gonna be weird.
Yeah, well. But we do have some interesting things going on this week within the world of Motiga. That was some of the previous devs of Motiga who did not come back have gone off and made their own studio.
I don't even know if it's previous. Like, the only people I know for sure that are involved in the Meta Arcade project are David Reed, Mopo Cthulhu, he was like vice president of product or production,
Something like that.
Something up there, and then I believe Toomey Motelipo is also
Chris Toomey.
Yeah.
So
Chris Toomey,
the
ever wonderful intern is also over there with them. And,
we
actually have
super turn.
There's not a whole lot to talk about because we actually have like absolutely no idea
what's going on. But
all we know is it's Meta Arcade. It's based out of Seattle, and they're doing
something that Cthulhu has been saying he's wanted to do for a while. Like if you read his original Twitter post that went to like a little about page. Like if you go to the actual Meta Arcade page, they have a website and everything is great. You could read up on kind of like this was his vision for something he wanted to do ever since. I think it was Valve started bringing indie games to Steam.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, the sort of like
when
games stopped being, when indies started being a thing, like he's kind of had this vision. So, obviously not directly related to Motiga, but like, it's some ex-Motiga people, and like, as part of
really like this was his chance to go ahead and finally realize his dream. He's like, you know what? I think it's my turn to do what I want to do and move forward on this ground at the very least.
Yeah. And,
so,
here
really
at GG
cool,
Unleashed, we're going to have an interview with David Reed next week.
Yep. Have an interview with David Reed
potentially
Thursday,
some details.
This week, which is going to be interesting. Yeah. Let me actually figure out exactly when that was, because that might happen at around the same time that Guardians Arena Rampage is going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'll be what it is. There'll be a VOD up if you're busy with Guardians right now. Or you can watch it while you play your games and just completely abandon your team.
It's 9 p.m. EST, which is actually now is the first starting hour of the Guardians Arena Rampage. It used to start at 5 p.m. PST, but because of certain scheduling things, they are moving it up to 6 p.m. PST, which is 9 p.m. EST, which means we're starting at the same time. Great. Fantastic. But yeah, the VOD's going to be up. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be cool. If you don't catch it live, watch that.
And if you're looking to support, some people that, Motiga devs that, went on to different things as part of the mass layoffs, there's no, like, I don't feel bad being like, hey, like, you can support two studios at the same time. Like,
well, I mean,
that's
like, there's not a thing.
Yeah, but it's like, it's like I don't feel bad.
Like,
I don't feel bad being like, go follow them.
Time. Yeah, like exactly, go follow them. But like maybe for me or maybe for Perry or whatever, it's gonna be a harder time because we work with GGU, and maybe for people who do heavy into the fan and heavy into the fan site and community upbringing for one community, it's gonna be hard for you to split between the two if you wanted to do the same stuff. But like at the same time, that doesn't stop us from going and playing the game.
And I don't think they're gonna be competitors though. Like it's like I don't see. I feel like they've got it's meta arcade. Like it seems like it's going to be more of like an arcadey style game.
Yeah,
it
maybe like
and it
maybe
probably won't come out for a
development.
while. It probably won't come out for a while.
Exactly.
Anyway. Like they founded the studio like in the last
Like
month,
the
so it
last
can't
week
be.
or two, yeah. So
Yeah, like I doubt he was working on it while he was at Motika. So like we got some time here, but give them a follow, keep up with what they're doing,
exactly,
and we'll see what sort of things we can pester out of Toomey at PAX East.
exactly. He's going. I know Chester's
Yeah.
going. Sweet.
Yeah, Toomey and Cheshire will be there. Yeah, actually, I guess this kind of segues. So both Shmoo and Wolfie and I are all going to be at PAX East again.
Yep, Shmoo, that's me. Sorry.
Yep.
Wolfie, who's in the chat, and Perry are all going to be at PAX East again. We do know that a lot of the people that went last time and met us, actually, at PAX East as just random fans, are going as community members, such as Falco is going. She met me at PAX East last year and is now a major community member. Zeru is going. Tim from GG Unleashed, the owner of GG Unleashed, is going. Syong is going. We've got Avalon is going as well. There's gonna be a lot of people there. There's gonna be a lot of really cool.
I think a lot of the Warpath people as well, because like there's a number of people like Warpath and Lana, Pleasure, like the teams that played the tournament last year, and some of the coaches are all local up there.
Yeah,
which is
so
how they found out about the game in the first place. So
they're
probably
going
see a good number of them
there as well. It's going to be really cool, honestly. I think it's going to be really interesting to see. We are going to be doing our meetup one of those days. I have no idea what we're going to be doing. I don't know if we're going to do it on the Saturday, if we're just going to try and meet up Friday night somewhere, have dinner and drinks or whatever. I'm going to try and maybe get a place where we can record a quick kind of like we're here Bull Rush at PAX East, a little quibbit that we could put up on the YouTube.
Well, we could do something Thursday. Like we could we'll both be there Thursday during the day. So if anyone's getting in early, I'm planning to fly in and pretty much just go brewery hop for the afternoon because I have nothing better to do.
We're probably going to be doing that with you as well. I do have somebody that I'm going to try and meet up with, but this is probably just going to be brewery hopping with you. So if you're going to be in the PAX East or the Boston area on Thursday or during the week, we're going to kind of tweet out, hey, or this is where we're going to do it, or maybe do like a Reddit post like, hey, let's do a big gigantic meetup, sort of a deal, and we'll figure it out as we go along. Hopefully a little bit more organized this time than last time. God, that was interesting.
Well, and we're not going to have, obviously Motiga's not going to be coming, which is, a little sad. Obviously, we would all love to see them there, but
we knew that was going to happen, though.
Yeah, I mean, like we knew like internally that it was going to be highly unlikely, but it's always a little tough to like see the list and be like, oh, Blizzard's coming, Riot's coming, Bethesda, no Motiga,
no Motiga.
Which, I think we're going to see.
Is the list even out yet?
Yeah, no, the list went up earlier in the week.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'll drop it to you later. But,
sweet.
Separately, I mean, this will be the first, I guess, like major PAX that hasn't had a Motiga presence.
Yeah, that.
I mean, South, I think, kind of doesn't count.
We expect them to be at PAX Prime, though, because it's in their area. But from what Troy has said, and I'm, giving this information away freely because I don't think he cares, he has said that they probably won't have a booth presence at any major convention, but that they will have a theater presence. Mainly because he doesn't like having to organize a booth for a convention.
And honestly, like, I don't think that's a bad thing. I like the booth, right? Like, I want to see. Ultimately, I'm going to want to see the booth come back eventually at some point.
Yeah, but what I think will happen is it won't be so much a booth as it will be a stage where they might do competitive events.
See, here's the thing, though, and this is like just like as my personal opinion, right? Is so if we're talking about gigantic right now, we're on a timeline where I'm gonna guess open beta at some point this summer.
Some point this summer.
I mean, there's been rumors going around that's as soon as like the next couple of weeks. I think that's absurd. It. I highly doubt it. I would not want to see us go open beta yet.
Too much information. They're still working on some heavy things.
Well, sure. I mean, like that's not even betraying. Like it's blatantly obvious that like shit needs to get done before the game is in a state that is solid and playable.
There's a lot of clamor for people to bring back Roland. Honestly,
I keep forgetting he exists.
Yeah, but we said this last week. Roland or somebody, I saw in one of my many Discord channels has said that Roland fits in the current style of the game actually really well. They just need to tune around his numbers a little bit, and he'd be fine. I mean, I honestly love to see Roland back in. He was a great hero. Like, he honestly had a little bit of brokenness to him, but they just need to, make him simple again, rather than have this stupid drone thing that he had in his last incarnation, and just get rid of the stupid bouncing shotgun bullets thing. Make him basic. Make him simple. You don't need to make him complex. You don't need to reinvent the wheel here. Make him a shotgunner. That's all he needs to be. Screw his grapple. Give him something else. Give him, like, I
want it. I want it.
Yeah. Give him, like, he had the traps before, so give him back the traps. Get rid of the grapple and make it, like, a dash or something. Like, something that he can get out with. Like, put down a teleport pad or something. I don't know. Fucking make him go invisible. I don't care. Give him something that he can use as an escape. Just get rid of the grapple. That's all it needs to be.
Yeah, but I think in general, though, like, we're at a point where
But the grapple was broken, Wolfie.
I think, though, like, separate from, like, even getting stuff like Roland back into the game, like, the matchmaking isn't good, right? Like, there's a lot of things that need... Well, yeah, they're fixing it, but, like, so here's the, like, I had this discussion with a couple of community members the other day. Like, we're still at a point where, like, you look at other games that are in open beta right now, or even, heck, you look at other games that are in closed beta right now. You look at, like, Overwatch, Paladins, and I mean, I guess not Paragon anymore because they went open beta, but, like, Overwatch and Paladins are both. They went, the characters have some balance issues. Yeah, there's some gameplay balance issues, but, like, the game works. I can log on to Paladins right now and, like, play a game in a couple of minutes and get, have a good time. I can log into Overwatch and, like, hop in a game and, like, yeah, there's some issues that I hope they'll fix before release, but, like, it's a playable, fun game, and it's still in closed beta. Like, Gigantic has not gotten to a point where I can just, like, I was going to get on this morning and, like, get in a couple of matches. I'm like, I don't know if I want to sit in queue for, like, 10 minutes to maybe get a game that isn't going to cancel out.
That issue is definitely a thing, but I think a lot of these can be pointed to a couple of different areas. One is, it is a low population game still. Like, regardless of it being, much more out there, and people sharing around all these keys, it's still a low population game compared to something like Paladins, where they had a lot of people that wanted to play the game and were still able to get into it. And then the one major difference was it's easier to understand a little bit of what's going on in Paladins than in Gigantic, because it plays similar to things you've done before. TF2, the whole siege mechanic is Overwatch as well. Like, it's something that people understand, they recognize, and they can get their heads wrapped around it easier. Versus with Gigantic, where a lot of it's familiar, but the main core gameplay mechanics, rotating for points to get power orbs and doing this, that, and the third, it's difficult to wrap your head around 100%. So for that reason, plus the terrible queue times, like I said, player retention is bad.
Well, and I don't even, I think at some point you start getting player retention is, I think, almost entirely a problem of queue times. Like, that's the reason I don't play Gigantic as much as I play, like, some, like we were talking before the show about, like, playing Enter the Gungeon. Like, right now, if I sit down at my computer, it's like, I've got, an hour to kill that I,
let me just
go
pop
do something.
Up Enter the Gungeon and play.
I'm going to pop up Enter the Gungeon. I'm going to pop up Overwatch. I'm going to pop up Civilization. Hell, like, when Civilization is an easier drop-in, drop-out game than your game, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And I know how to play the game. Like, I know how to play Gigantic. Like, yeah, Gigantic has, like, there are bootstrapping issues, and, like, we're gonna need a better tutorial to actually explain us the game, which actually, honestly, of all of the like, population changes in Gigantic, the thing that worries me the most is losing Kate. Because Kate was the one, Mo Eradicate was the one that made the new tutorial, and she has since moved to Gearbox.
Yeah.
As part of the layoffs, which means, A, we don't have a map designer unless we rehired someone else that I'm not familiar with, and B, we don't have somebody that can fix up the tutorial.
Honestly,
and
I think
that's the thing. We can't go open beta until we have a good tutorial. Period. 100%.
The problem,
it will be suicide to go open beta before we have a good tutorial.
The problem is like, the tutorial that we need is a tutorial that no one's going to want to sit through. They're going to try and find a way to skip through it as quickly as possible, because the tutorial as it sits does what it's supposed to do. It teaches you the base things of what's happening in the game. It doesn't teach you how they work in a game environment. And it doesn't teach you proper actions within a work environment. That's the sort of things that no game has. No game's going to teach you the meta. No tutorial is going to teach you any of that sort of stuff. And so no game is going, so this game especially is going to have a problem where you can't teach a lot of the things that you need to teach to be effective in a game. Like, how do I play an assassin? Gee, I don't know, figure it out. No, it's in this game it needs to be, how do I play an assassin? Well, don't go in and kill yourself. Try and get in, deal damage, and if you don't kill a target, save yourself and get out. Like, you don't want to 100% go all in and sort of stuff like that. Like, things that aren't taught in a tutorial but are learned through experience, are learned through asking people, are learned through watching videos and streams that nobody wants to do.
And I think that's really the big thing is, like, open beta requires your game to be self-sufficient. Because right now, open beta is functionally a demo for your game. Like, that is what open beta, early access, whatever you want to call it, like, it's become a demo. And if your game is not
or a get-out-of-jail-free card, almost.
Well, okay, so, like, I'm talking about, like, there are games that abuse, like, open access, early
access, open beta. By saying, hey, look, it's an early access
there are games
game.
That abuse
we want
that.
Money now, and we'll develop the game later.
Yeah. But, like, responsible citizens that use, like, early access and open beta correctly, like, the game should still be the game should, Darkest Dungeon, I would say, like, Overwatch is doing, well, when they go open beta, is probably, unless they, like, things go off a cliff, is going to be fine. Paladins is doing fine in quasi-open beta. We're talking about games where but it has to be self-sufficient. You have to be able to play it like it's a real game that you would pay money for. Like, that's what open beta is for, making your sales. Like, especially for a game like this. Like, gigantic open beta should be for, this is where you convince people that this is a game that they can see themselves paying, either, paying the, like, $40, $60 for buying it once, or, coming in.
Things in the game.
Or, coming in later and being like, this looks cool.
Skins. Yeah.
Yeah, depending on what your payment model is.
Honestly,
it looks like they're going micro, which, like, I'm okay with. But
yeah, honestly, and they've said that they're going to go micro. They've said that before.
This is not who knows what's changed on that, over time. But, like, gigantic is not at a point where I would sit down, play the game right now, and we're not even necessarily close to a point where I would sit down and play a game right now and be like, yeah, I'm confident throwing $40 behind it. Like, if I knew nothing else, like, right now, like, I know the people involved in the game. I have confidence that they will, execute a game that I want to play. But if I was, like, completely ignorant of it, I don't think I would, look at this game, jump on, play 3 hours of it and be like, I want to throw them $40, $60.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, and I don't it's a high bar. Like, I don't feel that way about Paladins either. But, like, it's possible to have a game where that's going to happen. And Motiga is not there yet, and I don't think they need to go open beta yet.
Yeah, and Wolfie brings up a good point, is that a lot of people want a lot of different things, such as, better queues in matchmaking. Some people want better mechanics in the game. Some people want more features or different bugs and glitches fixed that make certain things unplayable. And all of those are valid concerns. And that all of that, plus the fact that right now it's too hard for Motiga to keep up because they're recovering and they've got stuff going on. We know they've got stuff going on. I've actually had Evan, like, we tried to get him to change a name of one of the GameVox servers. And he's like, I can't do stuff like this right now. I've got too much going on, which to me means that there's something good happening. But, all of that plus all of these problems means that it's hard for them to focus on any one thing. But my problem with that philosophy is that every single major player group, we're talking casual players, we're talking about people who want to hang out on the Discord, we would talk about people who want to hang out on the GameVox, we have the competitive community, the old veterans of the game, all want better matchmaking and faster queue times. Every single one of them. I think you could talk to any competitive player right now, and they want a matchmaking that actually understands what's going on. They want the MMR to actually be utilized properly. I have one of the highest MMRs in the game, and we know this. The highest MMR is 70 in the game right now. I am 61.
Yeah.
By the way,
12.
By the way, congratulations to Rezo for having 69.88899 whatever. Anyway, But I think the top echelon, that top tier, are consistently getting placed against people, if they solo queue, against people with 40, 45, 53. It's these random players that we call randos that aren't bad. let's be honest, they're not bad. Mechanically are strong. I see it up on the Reddit all the time. You know, people will post videos of them doing stuff that's really good. Like, just earlier today, we had a video from a trip who went in and stopped somebody from grabbing a power orb so that way they could get the push before and got out alive. Like, that's really good plays. I've never heard of this person's name in my life. I've never played with them consistently enough for me to be like, you're a good player, dude. Good on you. Like, I know you. Obviously, you're going to be able to do that. No, it's not Larson. It's not, you know, FBTW. It's not Shark Juggler. It's not these big guys. No, it's some random guy. They're good at the game, but when they're put up against people like us, who have either already have a considerable amount of understanding of the game because of just veteran status, we've been in here for over a year, or have hung out with the competitive community long enough to understand what is good and what is bad, have asked questions like that, or are, you know, just uniquely good at the game. Like, friggin' Mookenberg was when he came in. Like, first week, he was on level with competitive players. It was ridiculous. You know, it's one of those things.
Transferable.
Exactly. And it's one of those things is like, you know, they can't play up against these players. You can't do it because there's a lot of things that we know how to do simply from experience and a lot of mechanics that we have solidified that you haven't, that mean we could just go ahead and outplay you. We had a conversation about this the other day within the art team, was the idea of creating these death ball comps. You know, death ball comps against players that are of the same level as you don't tend to work because death ball comps work off of one major thing, the ability to outplay your opponents.
Yeah.
Which is why when we see people like, you know, these competitive teams, when they queue up 2 or 3, either they're just playing whatever they want to play because they need cards finished, or they're playing death ball comps because they know they can win. They can outplay anyone they want. So, you know, that's what one major problem is that they play up against these people in matchmaking where the matchmaking sucks, and if you're a new player, you don't want to play the game anymore because you're like, well, fuck this. I'm just going to get stomped every time I play a game. And then within the competitive community and within the veteran community, you have the problem of, well, fuck this. This is not fun. I'm not playing against people who are challenging me as a player. I'm not playing against people who make the game fun. I have to go into a game and deal with 2 people on the enemy team leaving. That's not fun.
I think the thing on the other side of that, though, is, like, I think that's okay for closed beta.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay with closed beta being for
but
something
it's all
with...
right.
Well, I'm okay with closed beta being for dedicated players who actually want to get things done. Like, you look at, like, some of the other closed betas that have been going around soon, and it's like, yeah, like, sometimes... like, I briefly was in the Paragon closed beta, and, like, yeah, queue times took forever. But it was like, okay, like, I'm curious to play this game, and I'm interested to see how it plays, and that'll be interesting. And, like, yeah, I'll probably get my ass handed to me, but, like, whatever. I want to see if I like this game and see how it plays and see how it goes. And, I mean, obviously, I don't know, Overwatch you can't count because Overwatch is weird.
Yeah, well, Overwatch is Blizzard, yeah.
Well, yeah, Blizzard does closed betas that are functionally releases.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, and Paragons is a weird closed beta because they invited... like more people than Gigantic has ever invited in the closed beta waves. So, you know, it's all, you know, they have a competitive scene with like actual tournaments in their closed beta.
Yeah,
which is stupid.
Super stupid.
Well, I mean,
well, I mean,
it's not a bad thing. It just doesn't make it a closed beta.
We have data, like we have experiences that shows putting a competitive scene in a closed beta with actual tournaments and actual prizes has shown up again and again to not be a good idea.
No, I won't contest that. Gigantic went way too like
Infinite Crisis.
I don't think it'll be a problem for Paragons. I really don't. Like their game is so the big thing is like their game is already polished enough that it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Like, you know, separate from it being a closed beta, A, they invited a shitload of people, and B, it's already a polished enough game that it's not going to be a huge problem. Like, yeah, it'll be a problem if they end up, you know, patching the game into a game the competitive scene doesn't like. But, like, if they know what they're doing, they're going to have a problem. It's high res, so they might do something stupid, but, like, I'm not super worried.
I like how you called it Paragons when you definitely meant Paladins.
Yeah, Paladins. Well, yeah, Paragon's an entire separate problem.
Yeah.
That's not going anywhere.
No.
But I think...
But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's high res. They've done this before, too. They did stuff like this with Smite, and look what happened there. They created a sizable competitive community. It's dying off now because they've just done a lot of really bad things. Like, good example is people on Big came from Smite, actually. Some of those people came from Big, Smite competitive. And the interesting thing with that is that they've stated that Smite has done some things patch-wise that nobody's liked. You know, Guthrie said the same thing.
Yeah.
Nobody likes what they've done with patches, and that they're leaving the game to find something new. And I think they timed that very well with the release of Paladins, because these people who didn't like what they did with Smite are now moving over to Paladins. Like, I still like I still like the company, so I'm just going to play this. But they've done it before, and they've had success with it. So with Smite and showing that, I don't think Hi-Rez is going to have a problem trying to build a competitive community out of Paladins, and I wish them luck with that, simply because Warpath is making such a great strike at that. Like, they are consistently coming in second or third, or maybe first in some of these tournaments that they do every week, so, you know, good on them.
Yeah, I think the one thing, and just to get back like 20 minutes or whatever, so I want to dispute something that Wolfie said in chat, which is that, you know, the people want a lot of different things, and honestly, my problem, like, yeah, people want different things and different priorities, but everyone wants queue times to be better. Everyone wants mechanics balance. Everyone wants less bugs. Like, that's not, like, you're not going to run into somebody who's like, oh, I'm okay with the fact that you can fall through the floor on some maps, or, you know, I'm okay with the fact that, like, leap skills don't work correctly. It's like, no one's okay with that. Like, some people just care more about some things than others because, like, you know, they
like
made a particular type of character that doesn't have a problem with that.
And like people who, you know, are complaining about the problems with Woo bugs and how he will have strange movement quirks and maybe his abilities won't move him anywhere or some stuff like that. But, you know...
Yeah. Like, I haven't played Woo in, like, 3 months because, like, I don't like playing Woo, and so, like, I don't care about Woo bugs, like, from an individual level, but I care about Woo bugs in the sense of, like...
what they mean.
I want the game to not suck.
Exactly.
And so
on a related yet unrelated level, read Voxel's guide on Woo. It is probably the most in-depth, gigantic guide to date. It's great. It is fantastic. Yeah. Anyway, go on.
But yeah, I mean, I think, like, the game needs to get into a much better place before it, like, actually moves on to the next stage. And I don't know, like, Motiga has been hinting and they've been teasing that stuff is going to happen eventually, somewhere, sometime, something.
Yeah.
And, like, I hate to be mean about it, but, like, yeah, we need something. Like, it's been something. Like, what, 2.5 months since the layoffs, I feel like a jerk for doing this, but it's like, they said in the post, it's like, we will keep you guys up to date with the status of our layoffs.
Yeah.
We haven't heard shit for, like, 2.5 months. Like, we got one picture, what, like 2-3 weeks ago from Troy, and it's like, I get it, like, stuff's going on behind the scenes, and you can't confirm or deny anything. But, like, you know what kills your community? Not knowing if the game exists.
Yeah, that is a good shot. You know, and like, they were talking about the other day, we had a post up on the Twitter. They did the whole, hey, here's the new hero rotation thing, and the first reply was, wait, is Gigantic still a thing?
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. Just... Yes, it is.
Well, I mean, but, like, I can't even, like, I can't blame people. Like, yeah, like, I'm active in the community, and yeah, I'm friends with developers, and, like, yeah, I follow them on Twitter, and I had, you know, friends with some of them on Facebook, and, like, I probably am slightly more well-informed about the game than most people, but, like, for all intents and purposes, the game was dead. Like, and I think, like, kind of, like, there's this other funny thing that's, like, yeah, like, we're getting some patches, but, like, I think, honestly, like, you know, so, like, going back, like, you know, 2 months or whatever, we had that blitz of, like, they were streaming every day and, like, showing off cool new stuff. And, like, you know, at the time, I was like, this is what they needed to do. They needed to stop being formal about it, and they needed to just start having, like, one developer stream, you know, some stuff from the game and chat with the community.
Just 100% of the time.
This was a great move, and then, like, fell off nothing. We haven't heard shit since then.
Yeah.
And it's like,
well, and a little bit of that
good job. Like, that's the opposite. That is the opposite of how you do it. Like, you don't go, hey guys, here's a bunch of material, bye. Like, that doesn't, like, keep your game
here's
up.
The thing, like, they obviously know that this is something they need to be doing. They obviously know that there are problems here, that they need to get information out. They do. Because we talk to them. We know, you know, Evan has said multiple times that there are things in the work. They can't make any announcements right now because until things are finished, they can't say anything. And once things are finalized and finished, they will. And I'm fine with that as a sentiment, but it's been how many weeks since this has been going on? We're in April.
Yeah.
We thought the game was going to end at the end of freaking February. So
Yeah,
obviously
like,
somewhere in there, they've secured
been
some
funded.
funding. And that
Like,
way,
we know
yes,
it.
they might be crossing the T's and dotting the I's, but sign your damn name. And I'm not even yelling at Motiga at this one. I'm yelling at whoever the world's funding Motiga. We want to know. Because the only way your investment's going to mean damn shit is if we can actually market the game again.
Yeah.
This is what we need. Like,
Yeah, like,
you can't make return on your investment. You can't make return on your funding unless we can market the game, get it to a bigger audience, and have things going on. And the community team, like Slop Sloppy is saying, it's killing us. Like, the Clash course was dead and all that sort of stuff. And now we've got stuff that we're trying to do. We're trying to get Guardians Arena Rampage going up. We've got Bull Rush here. We've got One Pixel now. We're trying to stimulate a dying community here. And it's working. It is definitely working because we actually do have another new team.
No, it's not. It's not. Like, we're not keeping the community alive. Okay. So we're keeping the community alive in the sense that we're keeping the hardcore group of people from leaving. Like, we're keeping the active group of people.
Fair
we
enough.
have no idea what the effect is on the general population of. Because, like, I don't know. Like, I haven't looked at like our viewer numbers right now. We're probably not over 20 people.
We're
like,
9 right now.
Yeah, like, I can name more members of the community
than
our people are watching us right now. Like, as much as I like Bull Rush, yeah, like, as Gaiax says, we're preaching to the choir right now. Like, we're keeping the game alive through the dedicated people that, like, actually care about the game and are keeping it going. But, like, at some point it starts becoming like, okay, can we actually
can we actually have things going on?
Well, yeah, like, I'm here because I like the game, but if, like, at some point it's like I don't want to be, as much as I like doing this show, like, I don't want to be spending like an hour every Saturday if like, it gets canceled in 3 months and like the game sucks and I don't want to play anymore. Like, it's like, okay, good, I've wasted like an hour a week for the last like half a year.
Yeah. And
and like, I want to feel like that's not a thing, and like, I want to believe that that's not going to be a thing, but like, we're running into that right now. It's like, come on, give me something to work with.
Exactly, man. And it's going to be rough. It's always going to be rough, and it'll keep going, and eventually something will happen. We know something's going to happen. They're going to say something eventually. They have to. Either they're going to say, yes, we were funded, here's the thing, we're going to be doing this, that, and the third. Here's all the new people we hired because we said that we were hiring, and obviously people have put in their resumes. So they're going to say that, or they're going to say, so we tried, everything didn't work out the way we wanted, the game's dead, deal with it.
Well, and I think the other thing that's kind of interesting about all of this is just that we're talking about a setup where the game itself still exists for all of this time. And like, honestly, I think like we're potentially in a good spot.
Yeah.
Like, something that's like come to light recently over the last couple of months is like, obviously, like, Gigantic right now it's a universal Windows program. Like, it's running on the like crossplay Windows 10, Xbox, whatever. If you haven't been following gaming news, like, most of the other universal Windows program games have been just crap.
Yeah.
Like, Killer Instinct was okay. Tomb Raider had issues on launch, and then like most recently we had Quantum Break was like can't run below 30 or above like 50 FPS, or else it breaks everything. Like, literally, the PC port is like considered like one of the worst PC ports ever done.
Wow.
So like, we're currently like 3 for 4 on shitty UWP games, and the general consensus is it's probably because like most of them are like quasi first party with Microsoft.
Yeah.
And like, probably because Microsoft was like, no, you're releasing a PC. Like, they signed originally with like, hey, we're going to make an Xbox game, or we're going to make a PC game. And then they're like, oh, you're doing UWP now because we're Microsoft and we'll give you all this money. And then they did, and the port was shitty because, they had trouble. And like the kind of trouble that we've seen Motiga having. And like, honestly, to some extent, I think like the fact that Motiga like
is still going.
My hypothesis is they look they got to a point where they ran out of their money, obviously, and they were like, Microsoft was probably like, hey, like, we can like refund you, but you have to accept this extra set of conditions, or Microsoft was just like, hey, sorry, we're not refunding you. But either way, like, they're no longer tied. They aren't tied to Microsoft the same way that a lot of these other UWP games were. And like honestly, I think that's good because
That
like
is good.
a lot of the like yeah, like UWP is like
Like,
completely without argument causing problems for Gigantic. Like that
yeah,
is indisputable. There are issues with
straight
Gigantic
up,
that are
it's happening.
caused by UWP,
Yeah.
but at least we are to a point where they are potentially like we didn't sign over that much control to Microsoft,
No, yeah,
and
it's
like
not.
we
It's not the
could
same
say no and leave.
relationship. You know, it's like we've brought this example up a lot of times. It's not the same relationship with Waystone Games and EA that is similar to what these other UWP games have had with their studio and Microsoft. You know, where Microsoft has just said, "Hey, look, you're doing this because we said so." With us, it's like, "Hey, look, you're
Yeah,
doing this because we're funding you," and we're like, "Oh, okay." And now we are either untethered to any other further control from Motiga or from Microsoft, as was the plan in the first place.
yeah,
Let's be honest here. That was the plan in the first place. I heard it straight from Chris Trung's mouth
yeah,
that they are not tethered to Microsoft, where Microsoft can do anything to the game other than force it to be UWP,
yeah.
and that's good because now we can continue growing in our own way, the way that
Well,
Motiga wants it to go. And
well,
while
what it
that's
means
good or bad, you know, has yet to be
Well, what it
seen.
means is not that it's not that we get to continue growing in our own way. What it means is Microsoft is not going to drag us down with them. This does not mean that we are going to float on our own.
No.
Like this means we've got our own boat, and the UWP storm came, and we are heavily damaged, and now we need to find another boat. And maybe that will be a boat that we want to be in, and maybe it won't, but we're not going to know.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, and like that's one of those like weird news things that came along. That's like, yeah, like obviously, like we're clearly better off than we could be, but whether or not we're actually well off now is like,
Has yet to be seen. Information that
yeah,
is yet to be seen. And because I have to be, pretty much, as well as also because I want to be, I am of the belief that whatever's going on is good, and that when we see it, it will, you know, probably rile up the community that's still here and help catapult us into a better age of Motiga.
but like, I will say like bluntly, I need to see Gigantic at PAX Prime with a real presence.
So just to say this, by the way, you are okay. There you go.
Yeah,
There
no, that's
you
because
go.
my room is right over the garage, so
No,
that's the garage door.
you were frozen in Skype, and now you're a blur.
Oh, interesting. Well, that's fun.
That is
Uh,
fun. Oh my gosh, I am talking to a pixel monster. Dude, it's like those ghost stories. Like, we saw a face in the mist, and it was Perry's face.
oh shit.
Oh, oh man.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I think we do need to like, you know, I'm okay with them skipping PAX East, but like we
Yeah,
need
they
to see
need to have something
something.
at PAX Prime.
I'd love to see something at E3. I really would.
The
But
only
I don't
thing
think
I
it's going to
expect
happen.
us seeing at E3 is similar to what we saw before. Maybe 2 or 3 devs going to the Xbox booth and having some Xboxes playing Gigantic. That's all I'm expecting to see.
And I'm curious. Like honestly, that's something where like I'm not sure like what level of support Microsoft's still going to give them. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I don't know. Like I have a feeling that Microsoft is completely backed out. Like I had kind of this like weird opportunity where like I was at a wedding with where like a friend that I knew from college who now works at Microsoft in like their social games division. Like I was like, oh yeah, like I've been working with one of the games you guys are partnered with. Like I'm, you know, hanging out Motiga with her, and she's like, oh yeah, like I know this people, and I was like, yeah, like you guys seem to have like pulled funding for them. They were like, yeah. So sometimes game studios just kind of have to rise and fall on their own, and that's how it's gonna go. And it's like,
I'm still freaked out by your pixelation too. Sorry, I'm having a moment here. But yeah,
but like, it seems
that's
like
the thing.
Microsoft like straight up went like, we are not confident.
We're not confident in the success of your game right now. We're not confident that our investment's going to come through the way we want it to be. So I agree with you. I don't know what kind of support they're going to be giving. I doubt to see anything at E3. I'd love to see it, but I doubt we're going to have it. I doubt that we're
Yeah.
going to be seeing any presence whatsoever at E3. I hope beyond hope that we will see presence at PAX Prime, but I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that we will not see them at Gamescom like we did last year. That's just
Oh,
not
God,
going
no.
to happen. And we're not going to see them at any other major convention of any type other than PAX Prime. for
Yeah.
a while. Honestly, I don't think we're gonna see them for a while. And that makes me sad, but at the same time, I understand that's going to happen. And I know Troy's working on some other things. Troy's working on some other ways to bring the game to the people, through the use of the community. And that's going to be awesome whenever or if it ever happens. And honestly, I look forward to that. Like, that's going to be really cool. But we still need, and we've said it before, this show multiple times, we still need some kind of affirmation that something has happened.
Yeah, we need a sign of life. We need someone holding, like, today's newspaper in the Motiga offices next to a UI update.
Yeah, right? And we've had updates. Okay, that is true.
Okay,
we've had patches.
And
they are not small.
And to get back to something earlier, dear God, like, if we are not going to get an updated tutorial, for the love of God, can we get a UI update?
Yeah.
Like, that's, like, we need that so badly. Like, the game is almost unplayable for a new player with the UI the way it is right now. And, like, that I think more than anything we need.
Yeah. Like...
Is my video still ass?
Oh my God, it's just... I can't even... I don't understand. Like, I honestly don't understand how that happens, man.
Because Skype is horrible.
Yeah, I don't... But yeah, you're right, though. We need some sort of sign of life here. And even if it's just a blank check that has literally nothing on it at all next to a UI update, can we please... just say that there is money in the office somewhere, even if it's
we know that.
Even
we
if
got
it's
that.
Mojo making it rain over Troy. Okay, that's all I need to know is that there's money somewhere in the office. Okay,
I didn't know I needed that until just now. Holy cow!
Right? Like, anyway, but yeah, you're right though. If we're not gonna get a tutorial, we need some serious. We're gonna need some serious UI updates to give the people some better understanding, and even if it is just the ability to, I don't know, there's just so much that needs to be done, just something giving more information that matters to people, that's all it is, that's all that we need to be. But, we had other things on the plate to talk about today. We came into this show expecting to talk about heroes who's only really have one viable upgrade path, but we went off on this great tangent. We talked about some wonderful things here, and I honestly think that if we go into any other topic, it's just gonna not be worth it.
Hello?
It's just not worth it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Good, yeah, I just think if we're going to another topic, it's just not going to be worth it. I think our time here was well spent.
So I have one other thing to add.
All right.
That's actually related to a discussion I've had with some other community members recently, which is essentially Gigantic. I feel like in the terms of developing things, Gigantic has this weird problem with trying to make the their reach is overstepping their grasp rather conspicuously. So the reason this came up originally was with Aisling. Aisling is in a place right now where, Aisling hypothetically is a reasonable character. Aisling's, relatively similar to characters it's a bad example, but Broodmother in Dota or Kindred in League of Legends. You've got a history of characters that are similar to one person with one extra follower, humming around them doing stuff. But because the game AI, all of those characters work fine in 2D because it's really easy to make an AI in 2D that's go to this circle and attack anything in this circle.
Yeah.
The trick is that does not translate well when you go to 3D.
Yeah.
And you run into things where Condor half the time doesn't know what the fuck he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And so the question is, how do we fix this? Because doing something like coding Condor's AI to work correctly in 3D is actually pretty hard.
Yeah, that's
so
100%.
Well,
and that brings up the issue as to where people have asked for bots, and that's never going to happen because we see that we can't even code a ghost to work.
Yeah, and so then there's the problem. I think my problem is the game in general. We have things where we're trying to make this perfect thing where we have this really cool character that has all of this stuff built into it. It's got like, we've got this AI ghost dad that's fighting for you. But it's like, couldn't we just make a version of Aisling that's like much simpler?
We could.
That would be actually fun to play, and then
here's the thing, though. Like, even though he has weird issues with his AI, he's still not a bad addition. Like, Aisling is still really strong because of Khador. Like, we have AI builds, man. We have AI builds that work, teams that run stuff like Griselma and Aisling, and have, and Voden, because we can, have AI builds and work them, and they'll do incredible work. So it's like, the coding and the, for how they act and how they, work in the game is rough, but that doesn't distract from the fact that they're still good.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And I don't disagree with the statement saying that trying to go for things like that, trying to go for these AI builds like Khador, where he moves around, you have to code how he works in a 3D plane on maps that have a large amount of verticality, and need to, because, it's a 3D game, they need to have verticality.
Well, and it makes the game fun.
Things like that is strange. What I'd like to see, and would be incredibly broken, so he'd need some serious nerfs, is he's a ghost, right? Can we make him go through walls?
Yeah. Yeah, and
it's not
attack
unless he's outside of the walls.
Maybe. It's not even necessarily.
That would be broken. Actually, that would be incredibly broken.
Yeah, a little bit. But it's not even necessarily that it's just Aisling. You run into the same problem with there's continued discussions about Amani and the fact that she doesn't work well with the level of tick rate that we're at and the level of the way we run our netcode, that you have a lot of times where it's I look like I got hit by that Amani shot. Amani shows that she shot me, but the server doesn't recognize that the shot actually connected.
Yeah.
This is one of the most common complaints.
Or the other way around, where Amani will look like she's going to hit me, or look like she's not going to hit me, and yet somehow still hits me. Or even Amani has the ability to gain more damage off of hitting headshots, as some heroes have that. But I'm hitting somebody in the chest, and then boom, it registers as a headshot. Here's 1,000 damage in one shot. Never mind the issues with Amani.
Yeah, I think there's this. There needs to be an acceptance, especially where we are right now, where Gigantic is going to be coming back with less developers, potentially less funding, more constraints on their development cycle, and a need to get the game out at some point. I think there is this. We need to some extent, accept that the game will not be everything that was promised to us originally. That some characters might need to get stuff toned down in order to actually work within the actual system that can be released. Because I think this, having someone like Aisling, Aisling is not necessarily a bad character. She's not necessarily even unplayable right now.
Yeah.
But there are some abilities, and to kind of the point you were going to bring up is there are some upgrade paths that you can't necessarily take on her because the Khador AI isn't really good enough to make relying on him for damage necessarily viable. And so, at what point do you just accept okay, we take out some of the Khador abilities or strip them down to something more basic in order to have Aisling be a fun playable character where all of her upgrades are viable and all of her abilities work the way that you think they should work.
Yeah, that's
and
the
same with Amani. At what point do you take Amani and I don't know, reduce her range, slow her particles? I don't even necessarily think these are the right solution.
No,
what point do you do something to Amani to
fix
if we
the
don't
issues,
if we don't have the budget to run at 60 tick, and we don't have the budget to redo our netcode system so that it can effectively correctly handle a 30 tick 26 tick server, then what do we do to Amani so that she doesn't feel bad? Because there's solutions that will make her play correctly. One of the things that consistently comes up is Widowmaker and Overwatch. Overwatch runs on a 20 tick server. Overwatch has a lower tick server than Gigantic does, but it still plays fine because their netcode is built to compensate for that and runs a certain amount of it client side.
Yeah.
But the way Gigantic's netcode is set up, makes it feel kind of jerky, makes you have hit registry issues. And, okay, do we accept that we might not be able to fix that and instead change the characters and mechanics of the game
No,
to
honestly,
work
I
around
don't think
that?
that's a viable solution under any sense. And I think anybody at Motiga's offices, like Neomatrix, or anybody that's actually in charge of development of the product, is going to tell you that that's not an option, because that ruins something that is so core to the actual play, which is how a hero feels and how our hero plays.
But here's the thing: at some point, you have to accept that, like, yeah, we're playing in closed beta. Like, how there are I don't know, maybe what, like 500 active players maximum right now, like active, like committed, like hardcore players. There's maybe 500 of them, and so if you take something like you like completely dropped all of the problematic characters, if you completely dropped Amani, you completely dropped Griselda, you completely dropped Ashling, when if the game releases and it becomes popular, we're talking about a game where, in this case, 99.9% of players will not have been in closed beta.
Yeah.
At what point do you just cut some stuff as a loss and build for the game that you have instead of building for the game that you hope could be with enough money and genius developers?
I think we do that at the moment that we realize there's no other way we can bring the game to market. And I say we, this is, your old, the old exhibiting the game at PAX East thing, but I mean Motiga. When there's a point when Motiga can no longer bring the game to market unless they make a huge amount of changes, that's when I think they're going to make these types of changes. When I think they're going to go ahead and say, you know what, we can't do anything other than this. Let's do it. Let's make the game that we need to make because there's no other option.
And it's not even to say like that the solution is necessarily to like completely cut these heroes, but at what point do you start kind of going, we want to be able to like go open beta and demo the game this summer to fall, and like to start rebuilding hype, rebuilding a community, like going towards a release again in the next like 6 months. At what point does that require us to start cutting corners? Makes it sound bad, but like, at what point do we start, cutting things, in order to be like, okay, would we rather have, Aisling play the same way that she did during closed alpha, or would we rather have custom games?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
honestly,
I'd rather them
have custom
drop
games.
Aisling as a character and have custom games.
Give her the roll-in treatment?
Yeah, like, like you keep them around and you're like, hey, we're going to bring this back when we have the budget to hire another 10 developers, and like we have the net code worked out and we have custom games and we like have maps that don't let you fall through the floor.
Yeah.
Like, major on the majors and like cut out some of the problematic stuff that's obvious. Because like right now we have problems where like, even if you get into a game, there are some heroes where it's like, I don't play those heroes because like it's frustrating for me to play like Woo, because like half the time my stuff doesn't do what I expect it to do.
Yep. I totally understand. And these are issues that they need to kind of come across as well, just as an idea of what they need to move for the future.
Yep.
What things do we need to work on? Like African Reco saying, they need to start cutting things that are taking too long to make work. Cut stuff like heroes that can always be remade or made up. Like new heroes concepts don't need to be pushed in right now. Like there are people that like myself,
how many Chronos?
We in the competitive community, there are people that would say that, hey, look, we want all these new heroes to come out because right now builds, like team builds, are getting kind of stagnant, or oh man, we only have one real tank, Margaret's the only one out there, and so people want stuff like Paco to come out, but like, I think there's a point when people who are veterans, people who have been around for a while, people need to step the fuck back and say, you know what, we don't need new heroes right now. We don't need, and we'd like a new map, that'd be nice. We don't need it. We do not need a new map. We do not need new heroes.
That's 100% a thing where I am never at any point going to blame community feedback for the state of the game. It is it is on the community to say things like, we don't have enough tanks, there should be more tanks. And it's up to Motiga to say, if you want more tanks, that means you don't ever get AI and you're not going to get custom games at release. And for them to make the judgment of which one of those is a more marketable thing. Like, that is, like, the community is not game developers. The community is
Yeah.
not game publicists. The community's job is not to make to set the priorities for Motiga. The community's job is to give feedback, complain about things that don't play well, compliment things that do play well, say what they like and what they don't like, and for Motiga to rack up, okay, here's all the list of bugs that we have, here's all the list of like problems we have in the meta right now, here's all the list of map features that people want, and rank that internally by what's the stuff that we have the developers that are skilled to complete this thing or that thing,
Yeah.
and decide which things we need to get done there, and then rank that up and get done as many of them as they can. Because, like, there are things where it's like, we've been asking for custom games for a year and a half. People don't ask for that anymore because we assume they know that it's on the list of things that they should be doing. But I think if you ask, like, the majority of, the active community right now, like, would you rather have, custom games or, a new map?
Yeah.
Most people would rather have
I'd
custom
say
games.
custom games, 100%.
Yeah, or, or even, any number of other features.
Better matchmaking.
Yeah, better. Yeah, like, it shouldn't be on the community to set the right priorities. It should be on the community to flag everything that should be fixed and let the devs decide what's
the priority is. Yeah, and they do
because
that.
there's some stuff where
They
because the other thing is we don't know who they hire, especially at this point. We don't know who they hired back. Like, how many programmers? Like, the programmers that do netcode are not the same as the programmers that can fix Coddor's AI.
Yeah.
Like, do they happen to have a guy that's a 3D AI specialist? Cool. Like, then we might be able to fix Coddor's AI before we fix Amani's hit registry issues. Do we have a new map designer? Okay, then we might be able to fix the tutorial before we fix in-game UI issues. That's something where it's like, we don't know what resources Motiga has to throw around and how much money they have to hire people. So that's going to be on Motiga to work that out for us.
Yeah. But that's gonna be, I think, the end of our today's Saltfest. This is the best part, honestly. I think about the Chattapalooza streams is we get, and this is also, I would want to say, partially on the fault of Motiga for not, or whoever is in charge of this, for not putting out more information. Like I said in the Reddit, says there's nothing cool happening at Motiga or Gigantic right now. We are forced to continue to sift through our salt piles for all the lovely things we have to say.
One thing to note, though, there was a patch this week, and it is specifically for improving logging around matchmaking failures. Which,
So-
in the grand scheme of things that are failing that the game needs to get fixed, matchmaking
on
failures
them.
are a big part of it.
Yep.
That's the part that, like, if we get to a point where I can log on and, queue, and, like, I don't have to, like, budget out, like, an hour and a half to make sure I can get a game in,
Yep.
then that makes it much easier for me and for other people with less free time to play. And that's going to be really good. And, like, I can get back and, like, yeah, like, the game might be buggy, but, like, I want to be able to sit down and play a game in my free time. And I can't necessarily do that right now.
Yep, but that is going to be it for us, though. We've had a fantastic stream. Like we said, we're going to be at PAX East this, not this week, but the next week. That is
like
the
2
21st
weeks,
through
3
the
weeks.
25th. We're going to be out of town. So our regular show on the 23rd is going to be canceled because obviously we're not going to be there for it. It's just not going to happen. If you do have any feedback, go ahead and please feel free to email us at either our names at GG Unleashed, that's Schmoolidorf or Noirbot at GG Unleashed, or you can email Bullrush at GG Unleashed, not the Bullrush, just Bullrush at GG Unleashed for that email, and that will redirect to us. You can also follow us at our Twitters, that's at Schmoolidorf and at Noirbot, as well as following us at the at GG Unleashed Twitter for up-to-date things on when whoever or whatever is going to happen within our areas. And yeah, you also had recently this week, we had One Pixel showed up for their first show, a kind of introductory show, and they'll be getting to the meat and potatoes of what they want to talk about this, I think, next week. I think it's a weekly show.
I love that.
I don't know.
I really like that show is getting started up, and we've got, like, kind of an extra little bit of the community, and it's cool to hear from a lot of them.
Oh yeah, but yeah. I can't really think of anything else, so we're going to go ahead and set you guys up for a raid. Our host subject for today is going to be Shark Juggler. because he's an awesome dude. But that's going to be about it for us. As always, thank you guys so much for coming on by and watching. We really appreciate you. We appreciate you. This has been Mr. Schmoolidorf and Noirbot, the Blur Monster, and we will see you next time.
Blur Monster OP.
Yep.